Whenever you're ready, go right ahead.
You know what really bothers me? I mean, like I have one goal. I am 74 years old. I know you can't tell it, but it's the truth. But here's what really bothers me. My deal is, because I feel like it came from God, is the preservation and advancement of the apostolic movement. That's really my deal. Because I believe that the apostolic movement has the message that can bring human wholeness on a level that nobody else can bring. So, obviously, if I think that I have the best cure in the world, then and it is a pandemic. The pandemic of sin is like 50 billion times as important as the present pandemic. Well, then I ought to be giving the prescription. So I believe it comes out of the apostolic movement. Jesus himself said, I pray not for the world, I pray for those that you gave me. You know why? Because if they get it, then the world will get it, because they'll give it to the world. But I am old enough to have seen a lot of things come to pass and a lot of things happen that really are aggravating, that keeps the movement from doing what it's supposed to do. I mean, in my lifetime, I've seen the movement at its optimum when it, at least in the last century or last 75 years, I might say. I've seen it at its optimum during that time, when it was really rocking and when there was really, truly world-class leaders, and when they were really like sold out about the things of God and about the gospel and about reaching the world. And then I've seen things happen, like there's things right now that are just aggravating. I mean, people actually, apostolic people, being more interested in fiction than they are the things of God. Movies and sports and worldliness and appearance and all these things that all revolve around fiction, falsity. So it's a vanity that detracts from the main thing, and some of those things become idols, and then the work of God doesn't get done. So that aggravates me. The other thing that aggravates me is the dilemma of biblical and spiritual ignorance that is not necessary. Oh yeah, I mean, we've got this whole deal going on where organizations are arguing about how much instruction do you demand for a preacher to become recognized and to have membership as a preacher. These whole arguments that are going on. And I get it. There's points to be made on all sides. However, when you got people that can't even quote the 66 books of the Bible and probably can't quote more than 3 or 4 scriptures in the Bible and have no concept whatever, I mean like no concept whatever about the layout of Scripture, the composition of Scripture, how to read Scripture so that, I mean, reading the Bible is like learning how to read music. There's a lot to it. And people that don't know anything. And so what do? All they can do is, if they're pastoring or preaching, all they can do is preach practical things that are obvious in life, find biblical applications for it, and that's about as much as you're going to get. And I will tell you, after a group of people's heard that for years, I'm not being critical. I'm just frustrated that that's pretty thin soup after a while. And so it's like the guy that was reading one of my books here the other day, the most complicated book that I've written, but it makes sense. But you have to read. But if you've always read at newspaper level, which is fifth grade, then it seems complicated to you. So what do? Try to dumb it down, which cannot be done. Dumb it down, or do we all ramp up our expectations of ourselves and get us a little dictionary and read until we're able to comprehend? I mean, there's none of the greatest things in the world that's written that is readable, most of them, very few of them, on a fifth grade level. There has to be rereading, and so all of that. But then the fact that people, though, don't even have the most elementary, not even the most elementary understanding of things. I mean, here at the school, we have a program called LEAP. It's, what is it? Leadership Essentials, LE, and Apostolic Principles. And it's for beginning ministers, and it's for beginning anybody who wants to know more about their Bible. And yet I know people who are wonderful people. They are my brothers and sisters, and I love them dearly. And yet they have not even the knowledge that they need to learn. So anyway, this is my rant. I'm just venting, and it's inexpensive, and it can be done, and I hate the darkness of ignorance, because it is a bondage that holds people. It holds them in ignorance and darkness, and it holds them in fear and intimidation of trying to do better. So what about you, I guess, is the question. And what about the purposes of your life? And are they being given attention? That's what it's really all about. I'd love to talk to you about this more. You can get my email and email me, and I'd be glad to talk to you about it. All right, so much for that. God bless you.